Sorry about that. I don't know why my mic didn't turn off. Let's try that again. Welcome into the Philly Friday Frenzy here with Big Al on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. As I said, I'm Big Al. Check me out on Twitter or X, Big Al Sports with a Z at the end. If you're ever looking for my commentary off camera, off the microphone on Friday nights, um, I figure we start off a little early. I'm currently watching the World Baseball Classic with you. I will keep you up to date on my screen. We will talk about the World Baseball Classic. We will talk about, how our Phillies in there are, doing well. Team Italy, as an Italian myself, can't say I'm not enjoying a little bit. It's fun to see the team that nobody expected to do much, with. One of our young guns and Dante Nori on there did pretty well. He's had himself a decent series, no matter how it ends at this point for himself. We also have a lot of Eagles news, NFL free agency news, a lot to cover tonight. So I figured we start a few minutes early, get it all under control, talk about what's going on, talk about the Phillies, talk about some stuff that's going on in spring training, things to look forward to into the regular season. And even we're going to do a little something I always do every year when this comes out. I'm going to throw it up on the screen here. You might not be able to read it, but the 2026 season promotions for the Phillies. Don't know why, but it always gets me excited. It's like that one step closer to the season. I love going to baseball games, so I'm going to go through them and kind of pick out the ones that I like because me and the boys will look at it later this weekend and be like, I'm going to go to this game maybe. I'm going to pick that game because, the promotion makes it more fun, too, for the kids. But again, welcome into the Philly Friday Frenzy here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Plenty of stuff going on the It's a Wrap Sports Network here. If anything you missed, you get a replay tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., as well as the Flyers post game with the Blue Jackets and Flyers game tomorrow. And I believe that is Matty B. So you get Matty B tomorrow night, so that'll be fun. As well as I'll be back Sunday morning at 9 a.m. with my boy Mike Lara. That's right, Mike Lara for Philly AM Sports right here. Watch us, to argue, talk, agree, discuss, whatever. We'll go about it together with you. Comments are coming in. Bruce Harper, my man, what is going on? Did you feel the WBC is good for the Phillies as I do not? I said this before. I like the World Baseball Classic. Always, I like it. I don't like my players playing in it because it's too high competition. It's a ramp up too fast for them. I don't like my players playing the Olympics too, but the Olympics was fun as hell. This is more fun than the World Baseball Classic, Bruce, because you got teams that weren't really supposed to be good. Like Team Italy has been really good lately. But I mean, my thing is I don't want to see something bad happen to a guy. I remember Trey Turner took him a whole year if the world came out like gangbusters in the World Baseball Classic when he first signed here. Then his first season here was hot garbage for the most part until his big turnaround. But it is what it is. But I'm still not going to enjoy it. Watching Harper, watching Schwarber, watching Nola and them on Team Italy. Again, my Italian roots, can't help not rooting for the little guy a little bit being Team Italy. It's funny though, the way Team Italy is. I could play for if I could play any amount of Major League Baseball, I could be playing for Team Italy just because I'm an Italian heritage. Adam, my man, good Friday evening, guys. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna cover up all. You've been listening all week long to everybody else, so now I get to kind of catch up with you and get your feel going into the weekend, get your feel going into free agency. So I had to get a little drink tonight. Dry throat tonight. Dry throat, guys. It happens. It's that change in weather kills me. The change in time and change in weather, for whatever reason, affects me on a cellular level. And for those who are just joining me, Team USA is up 3-0 over Team Canada in the bottom of the third with 2 outs. I feel Matty B's show is also good. Yes, yeah. Check it out, Matty B. It's all positivity with Matty B, as I say. Frankie James, my man. My main man, thank you for checking in on Wednesday. I got World Baseball Classic for you. Do you feel the World Baseball Classic is watched more by baseball fans? Seeing everyone checked in the Olympics when USA played, hockey fan or not, everyone was in. Do you like the WBC for that? So, yeah, I see what you're saying. So, again, I think it's when your team's doing good, Frankie. Team USA, like, listen, it's the storyline. It's kind of like what made pro wrestling, right? The storylines that people like, the juggernaut known as Team Canada always seems to get Team USA's GOAT. And we haven't, 1980 when they last beat them? And so here's a good game. And by the way, one of the best pound for pound hockey games I've ever watched live. So there's that. That made it much more exciting too. So I think to answer your question is I think it did bring in more average fans to watch hockey and maybe had them linger over and go watch their teams. Maybe somebody wasn't a big Flyers fan, but watch World Baseball Classic or watch Olympic hockey and said, eh, maybe I'll check out the Flyers. I'm in a hockey mode. And now they're playing a little better, so maybe they call them at the right time. Hopefully, I explained that laugh a lot. I'm not good at comments, just producing them. Yeah, right. I hear you, brother. It's weird to be on the other end. And again, thank you and Pat for the kind words you said the other day about me. I appreciate you. And for those who don't know, so I used to run a sports network called Edge of Philly Sports and managed a lot of live shows. And Frankie's always won. And I remember telling Matt this and Pat and all the guys I worked with. You were the one guy I felt the worst about making that call when I had to leave EOP abruptly. Family stuff, nothing bad about anything else, just family issues I had to deal with. But you might have felt bad because I just brought you in. Like I just brought you in. We were getting your stuff on our network. I got your logo together for you. We got everything. I get your what I call your opening package in, all the stuff together that you need. And getting you in on the Flyers post game show, and then boom, I just had to pull the carpet out from in you. Like even though I didn't know you that well at all at that time, that one burned a little bit. I'll be honest with you because I don't like doing that to people. The tickets for the Phillies opener are crazy. At least $200 for standing room only. Yeah, I won't do that. And I was on a streak for a while, Adam. Up until the last few years, I was on a streak about home openers. People just knew at work just to give me that day off, like just write it in. They would find out when it was and just write Al's off. This year, I'll just watch it from home. I'll enjoy it from home like that. Al, I feel as you said, I feel the same way. I feel in the way I feel like baseball, but I'm worried about our superstars. Yeah, I'm worried about guys who are aging. Schwarber, Bryce Harper, where it's wear and tear that we don't need to have. You know what I mean? That's kind of my feelings on it. So funny, Bruce and I are on the same page with our question. Yeah, great minds think alike. Go USA! Hey, Star Wars, what's going on, brother? Rob, what's going on? Good evening, my friend. Goddard, more time to decide if he wants to stay or not until Monday. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, Adam. Great news, big with the hot take and serving up the cupcakes. More USA fans rather than hockey fans. Yeah, I mean that's what it is. I mean, listen, as a not average hockey fan, I would say above average hockey fan, definitely. Guy who pays attention, watches, reads about prospects and all that stuff. But the Flyers have been really hard to watch if you're an average to a little bit of above average hockey fan. Let's be honest, Frankie. Call for what it's worth. It's really hard to watch. They either drop the ball and they look like they're young and gunning, and when they drop the ball, there hasn't been Flyers playoff hockey, which is amazing if you've ever tasted it. Flyers playoff hockey, that is. But you haven't had it. You haven't had the opportunity to have it, and for that, it gave you a taste of what it could be like. I think with the Olympic hockey could be, and baseball, like World Baseball Classic. I know they're gonna put baseball in the Olympics at 1 year, but this is good. Like I just wish they would do it like December, because it would break up the monotony a little bit. Spring training's going on right now. I don't need baseball right now because I got spring training, and I would rather see my team gelling together. But if you put it like December, in a warm area, go to like tropical area, put a baseball field there, and I think that would be fun. I would watch that in a heartbeat. And I was like, ooh, I get to watch guys I like to watch play baseball on an off time of the season. And if the guys who win the World Series don't want to play because they played too long, then so be it. I don't know. It's just that's kind of my big bugaboo on it. My favorite team is the Phillies and the Eagles, and my second favorite are then the Sixers. Yeah, I guess I'm the same way. Phillies and Eagles. I'm a huge baseball guy as much as a football guy. I coach football. I used to coach baseball back in the day, not as much. More when the kids were younger. Just the baseball leagues are kind of full, if you know what I mean, around the league. I've been coaching football now for 15 years almost. So I love them both, but I get excited about both of them equally. It's kind of weird. Um, that call was tough, man. But the fact that you made the call is not and not goes to me. The logo set up my brand for huge stuff. Yeah, I'm glad. Listen, man, if I can do anything for you, that's I don't care what I can do. Listen, I've made friends doing what I do. Everybody I've talked to on here, I consider friends. Some guys I've never met in person. Um, but it's I feel I have a friendship with him. Adam, I got to meet him on our live remotes when we did one of our Phillies post game shows. That was cool. I was excited to do that. You think the Flyers make the playoffs? Hey, they're making a bid. I'm just not. It's like the Sixers. I'm not going to get sucked into like putting getting my hopes up. Adam, is that what it is? Like the best way of putting it? I'm not going to get my hopes up. But if it happens, I'd be really happy to see that. There's guys on there who deserve a little playoff hockey time, and I think this city deserves playoff hockey, to be honest with you. I feel the Phillies will be awesome this year as our pitching should be better, as Wheeler will be hopefully be back, and we also have Painter. Things are looking brighter than I think people felt going into the season. Like, I'll be honest with you, I didn't feel super excited. I wish they kept Bader. I kind of wish they did too. For what he got paid for, I felt like they could have. But at the same time, Bader kind of had a one half a season hot streak. That's pretty much that was the best of his season. Now maybe it was the change of scenery from coming from the Twins to here, whatever. I don't know, but he wasn't a foregone conclusion. I guess the best way of putting it. We also have Crawford. Yeah, there's a lot of good things to look forward to. It's just you would hope they kind of start clicking. You know what I mean? I don't think Phillies will not win more than 90 games. Yeah, but does 90 games do the job, Rob? That's the question. And again, they can win 107 games, 125 games. What do they do when they get to the dance? That's the question the ultimate question, Rob, is like they change. Hopefully Luzardo steps up with his new contract. We're going to talk about that. So, let's do it. Since we're on the World Baseball Classic, we're on baseball. Let's talk about the Classic. Can we just talk about Team Italy for a second? And I know I'm gushing. I'm an Italian. I'm gushing over Italy. But I just like the fact that the only thing that was bad about the Olympics was Canada and America just, ran through the rest of the world, just utterly destroying them. Now, there was teams in the World Baseball Classic. They just were bad. And that's going to happen. I mean, America, Canada, Japan, Mexico, those are the teams that are going to have the big names. That's where they all come from, mainly in Major League Baseball. But England wasn't a great team. The guys from was it Brazil or whatever, or Venezuela? Like it was Brazil or something. They were making just like they had like 18-year-olds out there making just bonehead baseball mistakes that a professional shouldn't be making, like in my eyes. But it's just nice to have another team in the mix. They're 4-0. They're topping the pool here with America. It's giving America. If America ran through it, it would have been fun, but it would have been foreseen, I guess. That's the big thing. The weather's killing everyone. Yeah, Rob, dude, I feel you. I feel Team Italy was awesome. Yeah, dude. Listen, they're 4-0. They defeated Brazil 8-0 and Great Britain 7-4. Then they beat both USA and Mexico. And USA, they had a good run on it. The USA kind of made a bit of a comeback, but not enough to win. So they lost to 8. They won 8-6. But Mexico, I was kind of like, all right, it's going to be hard for them to go 4-0, but they beat them 9-1. So that to me was pretty cool. And it's also who they're made up of. They're having fun. Like, even they said on the broadcast that Team Italy was like, they know for a fact that that this isn't an Italian team. It is a team with men with Italian baseball players with Italian heritage. They would like to move towards a national team for Italy, which I think is cool. Like, I could get behind like international NFL. Like, I know NFL Europe didn't really get off I would probably want to watch that more than I would watch like USFL or UFL or whatever the hell it's called now. Um, it's given us a little bit looking at Nola and some other prospects, and I think Adam, yeah, Nola looked good. Hopefully, he can continue that because that's one of the things that positivity can point good if the things can continue to the season. If Nola can look like a solid 2 or 3 and have to pitch 4, that's amazing. What I feel is the best pizza in all of Philly. Out of the left field on that one, Bruce Harper. Oh, well, there's a place around the corner that's closed down since then when I was younger, but it's called Gaetano's. One of the best pizzas you ever had. Best pizza in Philly. I have to get back to you on it. Let me think about that. I can go like Angelo's because they are good pizza. But we'll let me think about that, man. That's a tough one anymore, man. It's a real tough one because pizza is like pizza, but there's so many variations even of regular pizza for me to give you a really straight answer on that. I wish I could go afford to go to the Phillies. Yeah, I know, man. I do. But you know what, man? That's why I set up my basement. One day I'm going to do a show with my basement in the background instead of just doing this background. I set it up with 3 TVs so I can enjoy multiple games at a time. I got all my memorabilia around. I'd rather put the money there and enjoy it from home because I can, for what I pay for a ticket, I can invite friends over. I can grab cases of beer, grab some brown liquor. I can barbecue and smoke some meats and eat like a king and enjoy the game and laugh and have a good time and have 2 bathrooms where I don't have to wait in line or have to pay $12 for a beer. I'm getting a little old at 43 years old, and I guess I'm over going to the stadium as much as I was when I was younger, but I do still do it, enjoy it. Now, my number one cheese, D'Alessandro's is a good one. Now, there's a place that people know about. It's called Russo's, and that's in Wildwood. And I'm not saying it's the best Jersey cheesesteak. I'm not just saying it's the best shore-based cheesesteak. It is one of the best cheesesteaks I've ever had. It's Russo's, and I think it's 9th and Ocean. Check it out. It's a game changer. All right, so let's look at Team Italy for a second. Like I said, they're 4-0. They beat Brazil, Great Britain, USA, and Mexico. They have 12 home runs through 4 games, nearing the single tournament record of 14. They have an OBS of 398. On base percentage of 398, among top of the teams in the tournament. Dante Nori, right? He is a left fielder. He is our prospect. I think we just picked him up. It's only been a year, right? Batting 500, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, leading the team in average and slugging at 1.083. Jack Caglione, he was a guy I was watching. Me and Matt were doing the year that he came out in the draft. We were doing that together. I really liked him. He's been interesting to watch defensively and hitting 375. It's funny, you got Vinny Pasquantino at first base. He's batting a 188, but he's got 3 home runs with 3 ribbies. He had in that finale against Mexico. That was historic for WBC. But I like how they're having fun with it. They're doing shots of espresso and they're hit home runs, which it's gotta be a little dangerous because that stuff comes out hot. And then they're going around like this. They're playing up a little bit with Italy, but I'm having fun watching it. And Aaron Nola's been pitching really well. It's just been fun to watch all around with this. Al, will you try? I will try. Did you say is Russo's in North Wildwood? Al, do you feel the Phillies have been trying to change too many players or have the coaches make them something they're not, rather than actually find players who do what they hope and want players? I do. I see it too often, and then they revert back to their old ways. That's why the struggles offensively in the playoffs every year. I agree with you, Rye. I really do agree with you. That's probably why I got a little down about this offseason, because I really I saw a philosophy change start last year a little bit, like stop swinging for the fences. But then they get back into it. Like you said, they get back in their bad habits. And it's a problem. That is a problem. And, when they were going out this year, I was hoping they were going to get guys who had that that change, um, that mentality of play, small ball mentality. But you know, I don't know if they can move anybody. I mean, next year will be a big year. If it wasn't for the lockout, I'd be actually way more excited. To be honest with you, way more excited. Heck, I can't even afford to go to an Eagles. Oh, forget about it. Eagles game. For the price to go to an Eagles game, it would cost you probably the amount of the price to go to 3 or 4 Phillies games anymore. I go to Eagles games, Rob, because I get it through work. It's part of one of the perks of my job. We have 8 season tickets there, and I tend to get a ticket if I want to go. So I got been at many playoff games. And then covering it for 10 years. So I've been able to be in the house and enjoy it. And maybe that's why I'm okay now, a little later in life, to enjoy it from home. Despite scoring more runs than the Dodgers last year, they aren't consistent in offense. It's bipolar highs and lows. Yeah, and this team gets streaky based on players. That's why, like, when Alec, or when Harper goes cold, you could feel it. When Schwarber goes cold, you could feel it throughout the clubhouse. It's just how they go hot, the other team goes hot. The rest of the team goes hot. Yes, Russo's. Flyers will make the playoffs before the Sixers. Maybe this year. Al, I feel the reasons that it costs so much because people will spend the money no matter if they can't afford it. That and the contracts, man. Pretty much they have to. Paying guys $20-30 million to play ball. I mean, I did it. Do you want? I'll do a math show, and then you're like, math show, Al. What the hell's a math show? Back on the EOP days, I used to do right before the Phillies game during a spring training. One of my bits on my show is I would do the math. I call it. And what I would do is I'd take player contracts, usually the big names. I'm not going to take normal contracts. Like I'd take Schwarber, and I'll break down if they play in 80% of the games, or 70 or 90% of the games, or 100% of the games, and they have an average of 2.5 at bats or 3 at bats. This is how much we're paying them to bat. And if they bat 300, they're getting paid this much to get out. You know what I mean? Like it sounds weird, but it's actually kind of fun to do. And you kind of like, wow, really? Like $10,000 at bat? Like it's sick money. I go to Eagles games because I work with a guy that has season tickets. That's always a plus, my friend. I feel you're right. I think people said wouldn't spend the money, then maybe players would make less, and I feel like that could be good. Listen, there's a truth behind it. If we could get everybody to line up, like say how much things are, and say one Phillies game out of 106, or I guess 81 home games, and say, don't go, nobody go, don't spend a dime on anything there. Don't go to the game, don't pay a ticket for a game, don't pay parking for the game, to go in the game, don't buy anything, don't even watch the game on TV. If everybody did one day of a strike, how much money that would cost the Phillies? Because, and if people knew it, because advertisers would be like, well, we don't want to pay for this day. You need to prorate us. And on top of it, you're not making anything at the door. If they don't make any money, that's just can destroy a team. One day, it's all it really takes. That's my point. And I think really, like, if people did that, it would have to make these ball players kind of wake up a little bit and be like, all right, man, maybe $50 million a year is a bit much, but it's never going to happen. We're not going to look at guys like me are doing podcasts about it. You guys are chiming in. We're watching the games. They're getting the advertising money. They're getting the money from the cable companies or broadcast companies, the shoes, the everything, whatever. They're going to make their money. They're billions of dollar businesses. NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL. They make all together. They make a ton of buco bucks, and it's just never going to go away. So I mean, it would be hard. You want. What would happen is like, oh, they're not going to do it. Well, we're going to have tickets for half price. So all these assholes are like, I can't go to a game, but you know what? I screw them. I'll go if they're going to do it for half price. And that's how they'll get us back. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to talk about Team Italy a little bit because it's been a very exciting moment for them. But let's look at the the Philly spring training so far, because let's put it this way. Excuse me. There's been some excitement about some players that we've worried about. Again, this is spring training. This means nothing in the scheme of things, but it gives you a little of excitement about maybe a team that you felt was um you felt that was going to be big. You know, it was going to be, or maybe they're going to be lackluster. That if they can stay consistent, this team could be good maybe, and maybe make a run. Um, I feel it's bad how much players make in one season than me and all my friends will make in our entire lives. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, think of that. Bryce Harper. Every guy here, if we all make average money, everybody makes under $100,000 even. Say we all made $100,000 in this chat right now. Bryce Harper's making more money than all of us times 20. You know, in one season. So it's crazy. Imperial Pizza and Sea Cane. You know Imperial though, Rob? Yeah. I used to. So for Rob and Delco guys, Imperial Pizza was a block away from the old EOP studios. That's where my studio was until I shut it down. So yeah, I used to dive into a $7 pie. Right? I guess it was like $9 now. That's still cheap. But let's look at the Phillies right now in spring training. Got Bryson Stott batting at 364, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs with a 1.165 OPS. Renee Pinto kind of turning some heads, batting 250 with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 4 hits. Batting at 850. Marshawn's batting 250 with 6 RBIs and 5 hits at 748. I think Stubby's gone, guys. I mean, I don't think anybody cares, but he's gone. Otto Kemp is batting 250, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 7 hits, 894. And then Bryce Harper in his short little time here, about a 375 with 1 home run, 4 RBIs, and three hits with a 1.500 OPS. Andrew Painter, I mean, had a decent outing today. Let me see. Let me pull this up here. I had his stats ready, but I think I lost them. Damn it. I forget what it was. He had like he gave up 3 runs today in 5 innings. But he's all around a good day. Like it's been all around a good day for him. Crawford, finding his own in center field. I'm not going crazy. Bohm's had 3 home runs in this spring in the last 6 at bats, I should say. It isn't just 3 home runs, but in 6 at bats. I mean, is it a contract year? Absolutely. Are you ready to sign a guy based off of this? Absolutely not. Even if he had a really good year, am I ready to sign him? It would have to be a stellar year, like really a stellar year. He's had 24 at bats. He's batting at 375. As we said, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, 9 hits with the OPS of 1.218. No stolen bases because he's a giraffe. But contracts and motivation in this case. I mean, people have been knocking on the can't play cleanup, and I guess he's trying to prove people wrong, and I'm okay with that. Prove me wrong, but can he keep it up? Again, it's only spring training. I know I like it, but it's not the real deal. Like I said, back-to-back days with a homer. He had a 422-footer when he played against the Blue Jays yesterday. And then today he had 2 home runs against the Orioles, first in the bottom, the first with 105.3 exit velocity. And then in the 5th, which gave the Phillies the lead and the win, I believe, in that one. But, if Bryson and Bohm can really step up, that could be gigantic. Like, really make a difference on this team. The other good news. Let's jump into that. Let's look over this Phillies good news. So tomorrow, somebody's getting some live bullpen action, and that's somebody's Wheeler, Mr. Zach Wheeler. So that's good. He looks like he's progressing appropriately. But they aren't going to Bohm. Listen, I think Bohm should be a 5 at best, but probably a 6 or a 7, to be honest with you. I know every kid in the world just went like this right now when I said that, but I really don't think he should be in a 4 spot. And if he can hit well, maybe he can protect Schwarber. But that that lies a little bit difference. Um, but it looks like Zach Wheeler is progressing. He'll get his first live batting practice tomorrow, as I said. Um, he projected for April or May. As long as the team's playing well, take as long as you want. Lucky being able to go to the Eagles game, yeah, right? I'll be honest with you, Rob. There's times I don't want to go. Not that I don't want to go to the game. It's just it's still a chore to get down there. Even where I live here in Delaware County, which is very close, with all the traffic, all the parking, especially for an Eagles game, it could be forever. It take hours to get down there and park, and then you got to get into the game, and you're in the game for 3 hours, and then it takes hours to get. It's like could be a 6, 7, 8 hour day. It's a long day to go to an Eagles game. Like it takes your whole Sunday. You can go to a 1 o'clock game, be done by 4 something, and not get home till 7. That's ridiculous. The other big news: Jesus Luzardo signed the 5-year, $135 million extension, which brings him extends him from 27 to 2031. Which is, listen. One thing about the Phillies is starting pitching's been good. It's one thing they've gotten pretty good through the whole time. Yes, Phillies pitching is elite, but we can't just be expecting saying the pitchers is all they can really rely on. Stop. Need professional hitting. They don't have it, and why great pitching will keep going to waste. Playoffs will prove it. Opposing batterers know how to get the Phillies hitters confused and try too much to mix up the back. Yeah, listen, I am right. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm not disagreeing with you. But if Bryson Stott can hit better, if Alec Boehm can hit better, if that bottom of the lineup can be somewhat dangerous, then the team can look better. I'm not sitting there saying, oh, they're going to the World Series, they're going to win it, they're going to crush anybody that stands in their way. But if we can get people to step up and maybe take the pressure off of guys like Bryce Harper a little bit to always swing for the fences, and Schwarber. Trey, we know, can hit. We showed it last year, and he's continued on from the year before. I don't see any reason for him to be stopping. It's just if we can get production from the bottom of the lineup, we can definitely see an improvement in Stott and Boehm, and Crawford can be a decent 9-hole hitter. Doesn't suck. It doesn't suck. I mean, it's a big if, though, Ryan. I think that's a big if. I'm not betting the house on it, if you know what I mean. Other news is everybody's a fan favorite. One of my guys, I always say my guy, Chase Utley. He's going to be inducted to the 2026 Toyota Phillies Wall of Fame on August 7th. That might be a ticket I'll get because I'm sure the place will be a raucous house, if you know what I mean. Once the silver fox comes out and everybody goes nuts. Even though this is a football town, it's just different when you walk into Citizens Bank Park. It is a football town, but when Phillies baseball is good, when teams are good, this team gets behind them, right? Like, let's just be honest. But you saw what it was like in 22 and 23 when we had the baseball in this town. People were going nuts because we had a decent team and we had high hopes for them, and then those hopes started to get dashed. Maybe since Cassie's gone, they'll get away from swinging the ball in the dirt. Well, that's a big difference. And Adam, I'm glad you brought that up because that was one of my things when he left. I'm like, maybe he was a guy who, talk about a guy who wouldn't change his ways. I know Ryan and a couple other people have gotten on Bryce Harper, which he's deserved. But get away from a guy who just will not change for anything. Like, he will not change for anything. Like, this is how I hit. This is the way I'm going to hit, like it or not. I'm just going to do it. Listen, I'm kind of glad Cassie's gone, right? I'm glad we can not talk about it anymore. I mean, we are right now, but like how people are just watching it like a sad puppy, like a jilted girlfriend from far away. I'm glad that's over. Me and Matty B agree so much with the hitting and offense. Yeah, no, listen, I don't think I disagree with you two either in that. To be honest with you, the hitting and the offense needs to be more consistent. They need to be more small ball oriented, and stop swinging for the fences because, like you said, just don't give them anything to hit that can hit over a fence. Let them hit something, but don't let them hit over the fence. You need extra base hits. You don't need home runs. You don't need singles. Extra base hits. Roster cuts, they reassigned a few players, as we know, but the big one was Aiden Miller, his injury. That's the only thing about the spring that I think that burned me a little bit. I was really hoping, um, that Aiden Miller would have got a little time, not maybe give Bohm something to work for. Obviously, I guess the contract's been enough, but you know, I, I just, I was really, hoping to see a little Aiden Miller this spring. That kind of burned me a little bit. Oh, that's right, Rob. I forgot you told me that. You lived in Collingdale. That's right. I'm a Clifton boy. You're a Collingdale guy. Orion Kirkering progressed from a grade 1 hamstring. He'll be having live BP. He had live BP on March 10th, and he's still on track for the opening day roster. So that's huge. Um, you know, so we talked about Rafael Marchand. I don't think anybody here is going to be upset when Garrett Stubbs go. I know they were talking about like working him in the outfield a little bit. I don't know if that's because of the Johan Rojas situation, but I just don't see it happening. There's so many other options. I would rather see some of the guys from the Iron Pigs come up and play than Johan Rojas or than Stubbs from the going to the outfield. I just think that's ridiculous. But the one good thing about the WBC and the Phillies players that are there, that even though I don't like it, the players not being there, like Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper, gives other guys more at bats, more chances, and Rob and the team to really get a look at what they're doing. Are you doing a party for the home opener? No party. I might have to work, part of the first part of the day, but I'll just come home, grab myself a nice glass of ice and bourbon, maybe a good pizza, or cheesesteak, good cheesesteak, and enjoy home opening baseball. That's kind of how I look at things. Sorry about the pauses, guys, but this tickle in the throat's killing me. But like I said, it's giving guys like Dante Nori a little feel of real baseball. Aaron Nola, has had an opportunity to really pitch well and showcase himself against good players, and just be able to prove that he can get back to some form of player that he used to be. Schwarber, I don't know if it's still a 300, but I know he was about a 300 with a home run against the Great Britain when they played them. I had those numbers. I know after the night before, him or Harper wasn't hit well. Taiwan Walker pitched for Mexico. And Christopher Sanchez had a kind of a rough outing on his first time in the WBC, but whatever. I mean, I'm not going to worry about that as much. But let's jump into Eagles to talk now. Eagles talk is on. It's what everybody's been talking about. Free agencies here. I know you haven't had a big splash, and everybody's a little upset. And let me just put this out there. If you look at the NFL free agency, if you look at the guys who made splashes, made big changes, made big deals, they're all teams that have won a few things that either tripped at the finish line or just weren't good to begin with. Guys like the Lions trying to make a resurgence. The Patriots tripping at the finish line. They signed Romeo Doubs. I wonder if that has any effect on the A.J. Brown situation, which, of course, we're going to have to keep talking about. At this point, I'm just happy to see him go. I'm just tired of hearing about it. If you don't want to, I subscribe to the feeling if you don't want to be here, then don't be here. Yeah, it is crazy how easy it looks at him for Schwarber to hit a home run. But what I'm talking about is you don't want to be here, that's fine. But then, listen, we talk about other places around here, which, these clickbait artists drive me nuts. And one of the people that drive me nuts the most is, and I used to kind of have a little respect for him in the beginning, but more often, I find I have less and less for him, is Elliott Shore Parks, because he's a rage baiter. I mean, listen, WIP, that's their flex. It's how they make their hay. But when I saw him tweet out the other week that the Phillies should do the Eagles should do the classy thing and find a way to get AJ to New England. And do you know what I say to you, Elliott Shore Parks? That's what I say to you. Right there. I'm not saying they shouldn't get him if you don't want to be here, not to be here. Those words are not what I'm saying. But I don't effing care where you want to go. You listen, here's my thing is if you contracted somebody to build an addition on your house, right? Right. And you know, he said, I'm gonna do it for $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, whatever the number is. You agreed to this contract, right? Shook his hand, agreed to the contract, and he said, you know what? That's a damn good looking addition I put on there. I think I'm gonna want an extra $20,000 for it. Or I'm gonna take my addition somewhere else. No, you had a contract. You know, where's the classy move in that? If you don't want to be here, and that's the problem with these superstars, you got the clout to push yourself in and out of places, even though you're under contract. But I am not going to make sure he goes somewhere he wants to go. I'm going to go make sure he goes to a place that's going to play top dollar for him and give the Eagles the best things that they need. If it's first round picks, a really good player, whatever it is, that's the way it should be. Class act bullshit my ass. Okay. I'm just putting that out there. Stop being a rage baiter because look, you got me baiting. You baited me. I'm raged. I'm enraged. Okay. But you know that's the biggest line of shit. And if you are, you're the softest son of a bitch I've ever heard in my life. This is a business, right? We're in the business right now. We're all businessmen in this chat right now, right? We're all businessmen if we're Phillies and Eagles fans and any fans of any team, right? We're in a business of winning, right? We're not here for the business of accolades. We're not here in the business of look at me, I can catch the ball in a circus catch. We're in the business of friggin' winning, okay? So all the times we heard about AJ Brown and we heard about what's his name, Jalen Hurts, about they're not getting along. I think what it was is this simple. Like AJ Brown is like those rage baiters we hear on national news. Your Scam Newtons, your Emmanuel uh-ohs, as I call them. You know, all the rage baiters out there. They want to sit there and say, you know, well, you know, even though they won the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts isn't that good, you know. This isn't that good, or he's not that good, or this isn't that good. That's the BS. Jalen Hurts says, I'll win. I don't care how pretty it is. I don't care if I throw 1 touchdown or 5 touchdowns. If I throw 5 touchdowns, great. It's all about winning for him, but that's not what it is about AJ. I like AJ, but he's a diva, and he's like the Incredible Hulk of divas. At certain times, he's a good teammate, a good team player, and other times he's online and he's being a diva. Like that is that's the difference. Well, Bregman just missed a home run by like, I don't know, a seat or two. Like it like landed right to the left. But you sign a contract, man. This is how I look at things. You sign a contract, you need to own up to it. Okay. I feel players can outplay their contracts a little bit. And you know what? The Eagles have been classy to them. I mean, when they extended Devontae Smith, they also gave him an extension or a pay grade raise or whatever it was. Because they knew he was going to pitch and moan. And they wanted to keep him happy. And fine, they did that. Now he wants out because he wants to go play somewhere else because maybe he wants to stat pad, or maybe because he doesn't like the winning formula in the Eagles. Like he doesn't just want to win a Super Bowl. He wants to win a Super Bowl where he's the MVP, where he's the guy who's 5 touchdowns and 200 all-purpose yards and all that kind of shit. Whatever, man, can get out. But guess what? We're doing what's best for this business. Okay, this is the business. It's cold. It's calculated. If Cleveland wants to give us 2 first-round picks and a player, then you're going to Cleveland, bruh. Sorry, we don't want to send you to New York because we don't want you in our division. We ain't going to send you there. And you want to go to New England? That's great, great, wonderful. But now that we know you want to go to New England. Guess what's going to happen? New England's going to pay more than everybody else because we know that. Okay, supply and demand, mother effer. That's how I look at things. So, class act, my ass, and I ain't gonna. As unclassy as it's gonna be. I haven't been to an Eagles game since the late '70s. My cousin Vince Papale played. Oh man, the vet. You got to be patient with how he makes moves. Yeah, listen, man, you got to be a little cold and calculated. You can't just be jumping. Not that you can't. I feel the number. Hey, well, Bruce, thank you, my friend. You're always a pleasure. I appreciate you. Listen, man. You know why? I have fun with this because I was able to walk away from the business aspect of it and just do a Friday night show and have fun because this is my outlet. You guys, like I said, you're like my friends. Like I consider you friends. Like I say Rob, I say Bruce, I say Adam. I say Joe Hale, I say Ryan. Everybody, and I might have never meet you guys in real life, but I consider you guys friends because you guys are good people and you tune in and you show me love and you want to just talk with me. And that's what it's about. Like, man, like when I go on Twitter, I just want to have a conversation. If you would just, clown, like when people call people clown right away, like I never understood that. I made an idea. I said, I know this is a little out there. I even said, I know this trade's a little out there, but would you be against this? Would you be against this trade? What are you, some sort of clown? No, it's a reasonable thought process. When I was talking about, with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, if they couldn't do both, would it be a terrible thing if you trade Jordan Davis at the peak of his, worth and got something out of it instead of being able to do, sign him? Like, at least you got something out of the deal, right? If you can't cultivate the guy and turn him into a player, then at the very least, what you can get is some high value for him. Isn't that what it's all about? And I was talking about that, and I got called a clown. And the thing is, like, I just want to have a real conversation, and that's it. We got some fun, and like, you say something nuts, or if I say something nuts, call me out on it. I really don't care, but I'm not going to take offense to it either. But at the same time, it's just that's what makes this tough sometimes. So I get to take that stress out of it. I'm not up till 3:00 in the morning. I'm not feeling like this is torture anymore. Like, I mean, when you're doing the business aspect, when you're trying to run the business and be a host, it's real difficult because you got to keep up with all the sports and all the information. Oh, but by the way, I got to make 47 social media posts, and I got to do the numbers, I got to do the banking, I got to do the website, I got to write a couple articles just to make sure stuff gets up there. It's a lot, but you guys make it fun. So I know I went a little tangent there, but that's what it is. Adam saying Brandon Mann got paid good for a punter. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel you're right. Thank you, Bruce. Harry Roseman will definitely make a move on draft night. I have a feeling that I kept saying this, that it's going to be closer to June 1st when they decide to trade AJ Brown. It's going to be closer then. I feel that way. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen close to June 1st. It's just going to help them because maybe they do a draft night thing. If somebody can knock their socks off, it's got to be worth it because they're going to eat some money. I met Al and Mike in person. They're the same person as they are on here. Thank you, Adam. Yes, I am no different. My wife will tell you that. Like, I'm no different than the first day she met me. We've been together for 20 years. Anybody who's met me and I haven't seen in years, guys I went to grade school with, I saw recently, yo, dude, you are the same guy you are, crazy goofball, whatever. I like who I am. I'm happy with who I am. I'm proud of who I am. Everything I do, I put my heart and soul into. And So I appreciate that, Adam. That means a lot for me. You're one of the good, upstanding guys. I've never met Al, but I can tell that Al's awesome and he's nice. Everyone he knows knows as much about the Phillies and the Eagles and doesn't make you feel dumb when you ask a bad question. Nah, listen, man, I have never subscribed to the idea of making somebody feel dumb because you want the people make people feel dumb, Bruce, are the people who need to feel special, right? I don't have to feel right about my take. Does that make sense? My take is my opinion. That's what a take is. It's an opinion on you think on something is going to happen, or just a fancy way of saying a bad opinion or an educated guess. Whatever it is. That's why you can't be beholden to it. But I'm also willing to admit when I'm wrong. If anybody's watched me and Matty B do the Phillies post game, especially in the postseason, we went back and forth many a time. And I've called Matt nuts, and he's called me nuts. Mike Lauro has called me nuts. I've called him nuts. But at the same time, I've been able to say, you know what, dude? I was wrong and you were right. And that's okay. Does that make me less of a expert on in sports? Does that make me less of a host or a man? Because that's the problem. It's like you become lesser valued in your own brain. So by you becoming lesser valued, you have to jump on other people, Bruce, and that just can't. That's such an ogre mentality, and I don't get it. Yeah, Rob, I get to meet. Yes, it was a pleasure. It makes sense. That's why you have a top show because you're nice and you always learn a lot from you and also from Matty B. But Matty B gets a little mad at me when I ask a bad question. I don't think Matty B gets mad. Let me just tell you something about Matty B. I've known Matty B now for 7 years. Oh, no, 5 years. 5 years. Close to 7, somewhere in that range. 5 to 7 years. Matt's an intense dude. Absolutely. He has his takes. He has his opinions who he feels very strong about, which is good. And he will die on his hill for the most part. There's times he'll admit when he's wrong. Not often, but he'll do it. But he's genuine. For Bruce, all these guys on this network are genuine. Guys I've worked with at EOP are genuine. My boy Joey, Freddie, they're genuine guys. They are who they are. You know what I mean? Good and bad. Nothing bad, but just things that people might consider bad. That's what EOP was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a genuine people, not hot take guys, not rage baiting guys, not guys going out there just raising their pom poms. Hey, the Eagles are 3-12 on the season right now, but they could still maybe make the playoffs if we click our heels together. Like they're real guys. They can split between fan and fiction and all that stuff. There's guys I could name all night long if I wanted to. That I will not take back what I did at EOP, even though I had to quit it. And that still burns me a little bit to this day. I'll be honest with you. You build something so long and you have to walk away from it. But Joey Sheeran's been keeping it running from the social media standpoint. God bless him. He's doing an amazing job. All that stuff you see is him. He's doing a great job. People still messaging me about it. I'm like, nope, not me. It's not me anymore. But the one thing that is nice that I'm telling you guys, I was up to 3-4 in the morning, go to a full-time job, coach sports during football season. And then, all that, it really started to affect me. It affected my health. I'll be honest with you. I'm honest. I'm an open book. I'm to a point. You ask my wife, she goes, will you stop telling people this stuff about you or about us or anything? But I'm honest. I have nothing to hide. I'm an open book. And, I'm diabetic. I, at one point, put on a lot of weight. I was up to almost 300 pounds at one point because I was working in a studio and I had to make sure the money was coming in to afford all that stuff and keep the guys going and keep things in order. Me and Joe would work our asses off to middle of the night, 2-3 a.m. I'd be talking to Matty B about stuff. It's a grind, and it affected my health and my life and my kids a little bit to the point where I had to finally say I was moving. My kid was struggling from an education standpoint, which is very paramount to me, is education. I like to consider myself an intelligent guy, and a pragmatic guy. And at one point when I'm sitting there having the moment I had to sit there and go, do I have to stop doing this because of this? Because of this reason, I'm moving. I'm not going to be able to balance all this and help my son do what he needs to do, um, and be the better for himself. And you know what? I knew the minute I had to make the decision had to be made the way that I made it. I knew I was right, and I stand by that. I was right. I mean, my son has been head and shoulders. Just he's getting great grades. I still help him study, but not nearly as much as I had to in the beginning. I don't have to hawk over him and make sure he's you know doing all his stuff. But it has been that's why I'm able to do these shows now. I'm able to give a little free time to do these shows. So I'm very proud of him. My other son, 10-year-old, he, getting his, doing well. He's always been a pretty smart kid, goofball, but smart kid. My wife put this house together, still almost year and a half, 2 years here. It'll be 2 years in August or October. And we, still put the house together. So, I know I made the right decision. Um, That's the way to say is Matty, be always genuine and the best thing anyone can be. Absolutely. You are who you are. Don't try to be something else, Bruce. That's why I feel about you guys. I mean, even though it's through comments, I feel I can get a feel for you. AJ Brown will be in New England. Listen, I think he will be too, like just because of they might be willing to pay the top dollar for AJ. Um, I know the conversation has been the Rams have been in the conversation lately. I would be okay to a point with the Rams, but I guess if you can get them in the AFC versus the NFC, that would be beneficial for the Eagles. Because you don't have to deal with them until the Super Bowl, most likely, even if you play the team this year. And I don't dislike AJ Brown, but I ain't got no time for the diva shit. Like when I coach, that's what I tell my kids. I don't got no time. I don't care how good you are. Just because you're good here doesn't mean you're gonna be great somewhere else. It's called humbling. Be humble. Devontae Smith, right? How many times you see that guy can go 3 games without catching a ball? You won't hear squat from him, right? That's why I like him. Give me another AJ. I mean, a Devontae Smith instead of AJ Brown. I'll be happy. Al, my friend has bad diabetes and now takes a shot of Manjaro, and he's doing much better. I am actually on the Manjaro. Again, I'll tell you something about me. That was a big thing for me. That helped me out a lot. Helped me lose the weight. Helped me keep it off. Helped me. I'm not even on any of the other blood sugar medicines. I'm just very mindful about my diet. But I haven't really suffered from like, well, I can't have that because I don't want it. If I want a little ice cream, which I don't have a lot anymore because I don't have the hankering for it. But when I do, I can enjoy myself. I can splurge. So I'm off all the other medicine. My blood pressure has been a whole lot better because that was through the roof. I was constantly angry. My family would tell you, like, I was very short fused. But my health's been a lot better. And for it, I have been better. So again, I knew I made the right decision. I tried to do something that somebody else didn't do with my buddies, and I got close to the mountaintop. I didn't get the mountaintop. I see a lot of people out there who've tried to copy what we've done, even some of the big names. I'll leave them out of it. But in that, to me, that was a win because if you're copying what we're doing, that means you're noticing us, and if you're noticing us, it means you like what we're doing, and people are liking what we're doing. So that means we're doing something right, right? So let's talk about this. Let's talk about Reek Woolen because Reek Woolen is a newest Eagle and has really, could have solidified that secondary with as a CB2. I know there's he's a high end physical talent though. The on the field baggage where he likes to run his mouth. We had a guy like that. His name was CJGJ. We've all talked about bringing him back as a safety, but now we're all upset about Reek Woolen in here. I think maybe he can. I know there was it Ross Tucker was saying that Seattle was happy, glad he is gone because he just likes to run his mouth. Maybe he learned a little bit from that. We'll see, but it's a 1-year deal. It's $15 million, so it's nothing crazy. And you get a chance to see if you get a good guy out of it. And again, if look, take the Jalen Phillips situation. A lot of people are like, oh, we should have kept Jalen. Not for the price he got. I knew somebody was going to overpay him. Somebody got overpaid. I mean, in essence, Jalen Phillips had one really good season, and not even a full season, with the Eagles. Before that, he was let go for a 6th-round pick. So give Howie the credit where credit's due. And, you're able to get a 6-round pick, get a guy in, do some tremendous defense for you. You're able to parlay that into a compensatory 3rd-round pick, and you don't have to sign him for some ridiculous amount of money. And guess what? I want to see how he does in Carolina. Not that Carolina they had a decent defense last year, but you have Jalen Carter on the line with you. You have Jordan Davis on the line with you. It's a little different. So let's see if he can live up to the hype of $30 million. Like that plays a little bit of a factor. AJ Brown goes to New England. It will be a big breath of fresh air, not to have to worry about a player dropping passes in big games. Listen, and that's the thing is that's a little bit of a him, I think, checking out and kind of Doran from Major League situation, if you know what I mean. Hey, Freddie, speaking of the devil, I was just talking about you a little bit ago. I think were your ears a burning, buddy? Sweet hoodie. Thanks, bud. How's the little guys doing? I hope they're enjoying their toys. What you think of Blankenship leaving and Dean? So let's talk about that. Here's my feelings on him. Well, we knew we weren't going to be able to keep Jalen Phillips as I knew. I just knew somebody's going to overpay him. Reed Blankenship, he got what I thought a guy could fetch. I think it was like $8 million, $7.5, $8 million. So that's good for him. But I don't know if they could have. Did he warrant it for the Eagles? Did he warrant it for the Eagles? I know everybody was really hurt over the Kobe Dean leaving, and they wish they could have kept him. And I wish we could have kept him too. But it's really hard to sign him to a long. He's been oft injured, like more often than not. Like that's a big thing. And in my eyes, it would be hard to sign a guy like that to a big deal. I wish him luck. He's got tenacity. He's got the spirit I would love in a guy. He has the physical abilities, but that's when healthy. And that's how I feel about the Kobe Dean situation. The Reed Blankenship probably would be the most doable situation for the Eagles. But, it is what it is. Brandon Mann, like we said, got his 14 million for 4 years, which isn't terrible. I'll take that. That's a little over $3 million a year. I'll take $3.5 million. That's not bad at all. Landon Dickerson, that was another big one. They revised his contract, revised his 2-year to $36 million contract on March 12th. Maybe that spells that he is going to retire in the next year or two. You know what I mean? Maybe that and good for him. And you know what? If he actually gets healthier and he can keep playing, he can go sign for another bag either here or somewhere else. So it's a plus for him. And I hope, he's being smart, living with well in his means, because $36 million, put it this way, if I had $36 million when I was 30 years old, just cut it out there, and you spend $1 million a year, just $1 million a year, you get to 66 before you run out of money. But you don't have to spend $1 million a year. You don't have to work another day in your life with $36 million. You don't. You live in, if I could live in the house I'm living in here, pay off this house, put some work into it too if I wanted to, like, really drop $500,000 into it if I wanted to, and just live off of that and be happy and be content and not have to worry about money and go on the vacations, get season tickets. You could still live a really, really fun, good life without and never have to work another day in your life. So, good for him on that. I know they went from 0 tight ends to tight end happy with Johnny Mudd, and from the Jags they picked him up. But then the Grant Calcaterra one was that was the weird one to me. I'm like, I thought we were over Grant Calcaterra. I don't understand. I think the guy has like 400 yards, 500 yards in 4 years. Like, it's like, really? Like, why are we keeping this guy around? Like, what did he do? That's ridiculous. I feel it's hard to even afford a down payment. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was lucky. Like, I bought my other house, my son's 17, so 18 years ago. So I was on the second half of my, 30-year mortgage. and I wisely would save my money, and I could have probably moved out years ago and bought a house, but I would have had not much money to work with, and but I was smart enough to make some extra payments to pay down my mortgage. So when I sold my house, I was able to sell and make a nice profit on it, and put a down payment and found a house in an area like Springfield's an expensive area, but I was lucky to find a house that needed a lot of work. A family, it was an older couple who passed away. The kids were selling the house and they wanted to sell to a nice family, and they met us and they felt like we were that family, which kind of made me feel like really good. Um, from that standpoint. Like I really was shocked and awed that she said that. Like, who does she to know us? Like, I could be a complete asshole for all she knows. Um, it depends on who you talk to too. But she did like picked my family because we were a family that they wanted to make sure that when I told her, well, she asked me she actually asked me um, what my plans were with the house. And I walked her around. I said, I already have this lined up to be done. Put a new this in there, knock down some of these old beat up old trees, and got the house and redo it and make it nice and livable, and yada yada yada. And I plan to live here for a very long time, if not for the rest of my life. And that kind of hit a chord with her, and she met my family, which sometimes is a good thing and a bad thing depending what time of the day it is. And I got lucky. I hear you, Rob. Struggle is real, buddy. And family does definitely come first, man. Absolutely. This guy, Freddie, taught me that more than anybody in my life. Jahad Dotson was another guy who departed. He got 2 years, $15 million with the Falcons. Good for him. He just wasn't going to get the ball here. I mean, he got paid that. That's good for him, man. And then Sam Howell also. He got a 1 year deal with the Cowboys. Good for him. But whatever on that one. But the whole Max Crosby thing has definitely made things interesting. Maybe the Raiders want AJ Brown. I'm just kidding. That'd be interesting. Wouldn't that be funny? The Ravens drop Max Crosby. Max Crosby then goes back to the Raiders. Raiders then trade him to the Eagles for AJ Brown. I mean, I don't think it would be 1-for-1, but whatever. If it's him in a 6th round pick, 5th round pick, I wouldn't be against it. Because if he wants to go, let him go to the Raiders. Let him see if that grass is truly greener. But the Max Crosby thing has made things really interesting. Now, I know today was supposed to be the deadline for Dallas Goedert. They pushed it back to Monday. So I don't know what's going on with that. Are they still trying to come up with a decision? Do they throw a deal on the table, and is Goddard kind of mulling it over? And is he, does the AJ Brown, like if we sign Dallas Goedert, does AJ Brown, is he definitely gone? Is there any way that the Eagles keep both guys? I mean, there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts in that situation. That's I wonder about that one a little bit. I really do. But let me ask you this question. Does the Max Crosby trade with the Ravens, does it scare you away from Max Crosby, or does it make you wonder about the Ravens a little? Did they pull someone? They're going like, oh, we can get Trey Hendrickson. Forget this. We're going to go get Trey Hendrickson. We'd rather have Trey Hendrickson. We'll just say, well, his knee wasn't healed enough. I don't feel like he passed our physical. So I'm going to just move on from it. We're going to pull back on this one. Do you feel like that's what happened? Because I kind of feel that way. I can be a little conspiracy theorist, a little tin hatty. Wear a tin hat some days. This is cloth, but sometimes it feels like a tin hat. But I just kind of, I wonder, were they trying, did they say, we can get Trey Hendrickson. He's younger. He didn't just come off knee surgery. And we don't have to give up 2 first-round picks to get him. All right. Yeah, his knee doesn't look good. I kind of feel that's what happened. I really do. Now, you can get away with it, but it's a little gray. Little gray. Let's call it gray. Crosby and their tight end are for AJ Brown if Goddard doesn't come back. Done. Done. I'll do that, Adam. I'm down with that. But I mean, we'll find out. I guess Monday, unless they push it. I don't know how far they can keep pushing it back. I don't know the rules on that. I got to find out. It's like, is there a limit to how far back they can, or how many times they can push it? I don't know. Are you guys worried about Woolen? Does his off or on field personality defects, his running of his mouth bother you? Or is that a Philly thing? Is it such a good Philly thing? Kind of like CJGJ was such a Philly guy until he wasn't. AJ Brown's future. I mean, do you care? Like before, it's like the question was, does he get traded or doesn't get traded? Or does he go to Patriots or does he go somewhere else? At this point, do you even want him around? Like, do you want? I mean, everybody wants AJ, the talent, the wide receiver talent around. Absolutely. But at this point, are you tired of it? Are you over it? Are you just wanted to be over with? And would you you prefer just to get something for him and get out of it instead of dealing with this for another year possibility? And my thing on the mass exodus, a quote unquote mass exodus of the Eagles defense with Phillips, Dean, Blankenship. It's the price of doing business. We can't sign all these guys. You can't have superstars at every level. You can't have high paid guys at every level. You guys, you just got to pump the brakes. The guys, like I said, if you look at a lot of these signings, are guys that either weren't even in the begin with, and are just making some splash signings just to bolster them to make them look good in the beginning. But nobody wins the Super Bowl in March. That's all I got to say about that. Does the 2026 season rest on the shoulders of our Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter? And does Jalen Carter get his extension this year? Does that happen? That's a good question. That's another good question. I just thought about that in my head. Do they sign him now? And does the defense rest on his shoulders as of right now? I mean, I think with Woolen, I think it's a big. I like Woolen. I like Woolen as a player. I haven't had to deal with him from a locker room standpoint, but we'll see how that plays out. We're taking a chance. I'm sure the Eagles kind of read him the riot act. Like, hey man, we can't have this if we sign you. You're willing to show up and work? We'll see. We'll see what he said. All right, and that's about it on tonight's show. But I'm not done yet. We're not going anywhere yet. I just want to make sure we covered all our topics here. Do my homework. I'm gonna try to put this up on the screen, see if I can make it bigger. Oh, do you know what I can do? Hold on one second. Let me do this. Let me do this. Share screen. Window. Okay, here we go. All right. Let me just see if I can make this. There we go. What I told you? What did I tell you? I love the Phillies. You know that. I just said that. I told you that 1,000 times. But they dropped the promotional schedule for the Phillies. And this is like my son's birthday's in August. My other son's not a big sports fan. My boy Benino is the 17-year-old's not a big sports fan, but he likes to go. I don't know if it's like I get to be with my dad. He sees me in my bliss, I guess. Thing that when I was his age brought me a lot of excitement and joy, and he wants to be part of it. So I think sometimes that makes things fun, and I'll explain what we've done. Let's see. Did you see Vic and Campbell is not going to be practicing in the off season because of his shoulder surgery again? Yeah, that's a little alarming. To be honest with you, that's a little alarming from another health standpoint. A guy who really needs as much as he can get to kind of get up to NFL speed. Came out pretty good and then kind of got caught up in it this year. Kind of digressed a little bit. So this is your March promotional schedule. Tell me which ones you guys would, if you had, I give you a free ticket to any one of these games. What does this do for you from a standpoint? So the little marks here, this is for all fans. The diamond, the stars for young kids, or I'm sorry, the stars are for 15 and over. The multiple pointed star for the 14 and under, women, men, and 21 and older. So there's registered theme nights too, but we'll talk about that. So of course they're giving out the 2025 NL pennant. That's usually why I go there, but I always know somebody goes there, and like I'm lucky enough to have good people in my life who always get me one. Somehow I get that. Got one from every year. Then they have the open night T-shirt, which I can care less about these free T-shirts to give away. The magnet's not a big deal to me. The hoodie for the kids on kids opening day is pretty cool. I like this. I love bobbleheads. If you ever come in my collection, I got a lot of bobbleheads. The Colonial Fanatic bobblehead I think is cool for the 250th anniversary of the United States of America on the Fanatic's birthday, which is great. So honestly, I think I might try to get tickets to this. I would love to get this because here's the thing: is you got to have, it's my kid's 10, so I have to get him get one. My 17-year-old's too big anymore to pretend he's 10. He used to get away with it in the past, but not anymore. Buy one, get one. There's Jackie Robinson Day. It's always a fun time, by the way. Jordan Davis post game press. So I think somebody said that in there. I don't know that Jordan Davis that well, Adam. I'd be funny to watch a bunch of people wearing Eagles Jordan Davis jerseys. That'd be funny. But we stayed around for one concert, rock concert at the end of a game, the post game concert, and my 17-year-old, I was 16 at the time. He liked it because it was like always like his first concert. Like had a good time. I enjoyed the music for what it was worth. I didn't know it very well, but I enjoyed it. But there's the Independence Blue Cross Trey Turner replica jersey for kids. So my kids would definitely want to jump on that. Stroll the bases for the older people. That's one's for the older people. I think that's the 55 and older. Yeah. Retro Phillies cap. I have to see what the cap looks like. I'm big on hats for those who don't know. Phil and Phyllis socks. That's the old. For those who don't know, we'll talk about this later, Rob. I promise. I feel like appreciate a fan appreciation too. Yeah, that's a good one. Phil and Phyllis is the old 80s characters that they used to have on there. So they have socks for them. Not a big socks guy, but that's still cool. Weather Education. Christopher Sanchez bobblehead figurine against Cleveland in May 22nd. That's right before Labor Day or Memorial Day. It's a 6:40 start. What day of the week is that? Let's see what day of the week that is. May 22nd. I might put that on my list here. That might go right on the top. It's a Friday. I might have to switch my Friday shows with somebody to do that one. Because I will be doing the post games on Friday. I don't know if you didn't know, you know now. But that might be worthwhile. Philly's floppy hat. My wife loves the floppy hats. Johan Duran card show bobble. I don't know what the card show bobble is, but I'll take a bobblehead. Love bobblehead. Soccer scarf. That doesn't really ring the bell for me. The men's Father's Day caps. All right. Woohoo. It's against the Mets, 21st of June. Hold on. What day is that? I got to tell my wife. That's my Father's Day present. Let's see. That is a Sunday. I'm guessing that's Father's Day. I'm all's about that. Kids run the bases. Chick-fil-A, Phillies, big chain. Oh, my kid would love that one. I might have to look into that one for him. Philadelphia Water Ice Fanatic cap. Interesting. Depends on what the cap looks like. That's for kids, though, of course. Phillies Wall of Fame night. Like I was saying, that's the Chase Utley night. The Alumni Days, always a fun one. Oh, Flo Rida post-game concert. I didn't know they were doing one. I know only the one song that they do. I got a Harper bobblehead and a Carlos Ruiz one. I got the Carlos Ruiz one. I got a JT Realmuto. I had the four aces. Each one I have a bobblehead for. Oh God. Placido Polanco one, believe it or not. That's a rarity. And then stroll the base again. Fan Appreciation Day is always a fun one. That's that's Tampa Bay. And that's it. Okay, that's it. Oop. Hold on one second. Let's see. There we go. And I'm back. Sorry about that. There we go. So that is the giveaway schedule. That's a little something I always do at the end of shows and when I announced it. If it bored you, I apologize, but I just always find it fun to look through. I'll circle some of them. I'll show the boys. And I'll go print that out. And I'll show the boys either tonight or tomorrow. Woolen will be better here with the Eagles. I think so. I think they gave him the old talking to. They got strong personalities on this field that they won't stand for it. So hopefully they said, "Listen, man, I'm not going to beat a man up for it. Just don't do it. Let me know what games you get to, and I'll meet up with you." Yeah, that'd be cool. That was something I talked about Matty B. And we did that with EOP. I bought the whole staff. We were, if I had money in the account to do so, I landed a big deal for the EOP crew, and I was able to. I didn't pay the guys. I mean, it was they got to be on a good brand and all that stuff. Some guys got paid for some of the work they did, but not a lot. But I did a Phillies night with EOP Phillies night, brought the whole crew out, got to meet some other fans of the show. Maybe I'll talk to Maddie and see, not that if everybody can just get their own way, but we can do like a kind of a meeting area, like at Citizens Bank Park, and hang out and just get to know everybody. And I think that would be cool. That'd be really cool. Yeah, Adam, definitely. I'll let you know. I'm gonna circle some games. I was thinking about buying a package if I could. I don't know yet. I haven't decided yet. But other than that, guys, I want to thank you for joining me tonight, as always. My friends, I hope you guys had a good time. I hope I was enjoyable to you. So I hope you guys have a safe weekend. This weather is wild in the sense of how starkly different it is. But on that, don't forget to check out everything else here on the network. Flyers post game, Philly AM Sports on Sunday with me and Mike, and the final word with Matty B on Sunday, March 15th. We're halfway through March on Sunday. Time flies, man. Time flies. Almost through 3 months of 2026 already. Felt like it just happened. Thank you, brother. You make it great. Interaction makes it great. Let me just tell you guys a little something. Give you a little insider information, right? Doing a solo show is not easy, right? I have to talk pretty much nonstop because I'm blowing my nose or sipping a soda. It makes the job a lot harder with interaction. I mean, a lot easier with interaction. I didn't open the phone lines tonight. I apologize, but you guys are interacting a lot, so that's a plus. But again, it's because of you guys. I don't care if it's one of you guys or 20 of you guys or 100 of you guys. I have fun conversating about sports. I'll talk sports with people randomly at doctor's offices or something. Like, I have no problem doing that. So you guys make it fun. Some of you guys have made a much watch TV, and I appreciate that with you guys. And I'll do this as long as I can, as much as we can. You might get a little bit more Al in the baseball season because as I am as a Phillies nut, I might take on an extra night, maybe Monday nights or Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights, post game shows with the Phillies. I haven't decided yet. I'm talking to Maddie about that to pick up one extra one on the week to help him and Mike out because that's a lot of Phillies games. And then doing their shows and everything else. But Fridays and during the season. So that means the Philly Friday Frenzy will be kind of parlayed with the Phillies post-game show. So what does that mean? On Fridays, when there's a Phillies game, which is going to be most Fridays, outside of the first Friday of the Phillies season, because they usually have that day off, it will be a Phillies post-game show. We will talk Phillies and then the game itself, and then we will roll in to Eagles talk as part of the Philly Friday Frenzy. Friday Frenzy. I'm going to kind of come up with a cool name for it, like the Philly Friday Frenzy post post game extravaganza, something or another, where I wrap it all into one. So I get to do both and talk a little extra time with you guys, but it'll be based on when the Phillies game ends. So it won't be always 9 o'clock or something like that. It'll be when the Phillies game ends. So stay tuned. We'll have that schedule for you in the next couple of weeks. It'll be that way, and it'll stay that way. And I'll still do Sundays with Mike, and then I'll probably try to pick up one during the week to do a Phillies game as I can. So, guys, I will see you. Why do they always have that Friday off after one? So the reason they have that is weather related. They don't want to have to make up the game if there's bad weather. So they always just do home opener on Thursday. So if Thursday's a bad weather day, they can do it on Friday. They don't have to do a doubleheader that weekend, that kind of stuff. That's always been what I've been told, Adam. That is that answer. So other than that, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will see you Sunday morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'll see you guys then with Mike Laro. Have a great day and a great evening. Go Birds and ring that bell.